In this video, I'll be showing you how to replace a radiator on a Dodge Durango. It is located behind the front bumper. Let's get started. First, we're going to make our way to the passenger compartment. We're going to ensure the front passenger seat is all the way forward and all the way up to gain access to our battery. For this job, we are going to want to disconnect the negative battery terminal first. Under the seat, there's this cover. Pull up on the corners. As you can see, there's two plastic tabs holding it down. So now go to all corners and lift up. And we can set it aside. Now we have access to our negative battery terminal. I'm going to disconnect it using a 10mm socket. Once it's loose, remove it and set it aside. Now we're going to make our way back outside the vehicle. We're going to make our way to our engine bay and locate our engine cover. We're going to go ahead and remove this. Simply lift up on the front. As you can see, it's held down by 4 rubber grommets, so we can set this aside for now. With the engine cover out of the way, we now have access to our airbox clip and airbox bolt. I'm going to undo this clamp, and same with this one here. I'll be using a 8mm socket. Now with those loosened, I'm going to remove this 8mm bolt. Set it aside. Now we can remove our airbox tube. Now on this airbox tube, there is a connector. Push down on this tab and slide it out. Inspect for any corrosion or damage. Now we can set this aside. Now we're going to go ahead and remove our radiator cap. Quick note before you do this, ensure the vehicle is cool, as coolant can get very hot. So slowly release. Let any pressure escape. Once it's relieved, lift it up and set it aside. Now with our radiator cap off, we're going to make our way under the vehicle to remove the splash shield. It's held down by a number of 10mm bolts along the front. We're going to go ahead and remove those. There are 3 more 10mm bolts recessed in the bumper. We're going to remove those as well. Now in the corners of the splash shield, we are going to locate 4 8mm bolts. You're going to have these on both sides, so go ahead and remove those. I'll repeat this for the other side. Now we're going to move on to the back of the splash shield to locate 2 13mm bolts. Set these aside. Now on the metal shield, we are going to locate 2 more 13mm bolts on each corner. When you remove this last bolt, keep a hand on the shield so it does not fall. Set it aside. Now I'm going to remove this plastic clip using a trim tool. Now set it aside. Now we could remove our splash shield. Just slide it out. And set it aside. And now we have access to our radiator drain. I'm going to place a rubber hose over to direct the coolant into my collection receptacle. Now I'm going to loosen the drain plug using some needle nose pliers. Now we're going to let it drain out. Now you can see it's dripping. I'm going to close my drain plug. Now remove the hose. Now we're going to move along to the right side of the radiator and locate our lower coolant hose. We're going to go ahead and remove this. I'll be using some pliers to disengage the clamp. So work it free and move it back. Now have a collection receptacle ready for any coolant that comes out. I'm going to grab the hose and just work it free and pull it out. Now let's move back on top of the vehicle. Now I'm going to locate my upper coolant hose. It's held down by this tab on the fan shroud. Go ahead and pull up. Slide the tab out with the hose. Once it's free, maneuver it out of the way. Now we can move on to the upper radiator hose clamp. To undo this, I'll be using pliers. Now remove the hose. And set it aside. Now to gain access to remove our part, we're going to remove this plastic trim on top of the bumper. I'll be using a trim tool. On the corner, we're going to find our last clip. Now I'm going to pull up on the trim panel, put it on the corner, and lift it up. Now repeat the process for the other trim panel. Now to fully remove our trim panels, I'm going to pop the clips off this rubber molding underneath. I'm going to take my trim tool and locate the green clips and just pop them up. If they do come off, just reinstall them on the rubber molding. Now there's one more on the vent for the air box. Now we can remove our trim panels and set these aside. Now I'm going to locate my grill and pop it up. I'm going to pull on the corners and set it aside for now. Now we're going to make our way to our fender liner and locate our 2 push pin clips and 2 bolts. We're going to remove the front bumper. To gain access to these, you could turn the wheel all the way in. We're going to start off with the clips, so I'll be using a trim tool. Now I'm going to remove one 10mm bolt and one 8mm bolt as well. I'm going to pull my fender liner back. Now I'm going to pull the wheel arch away from the bumper. Just pull on both corners, undo the tabs. Now set it aside. Now we're going to repeat this for the other side. Now let's remove our front bumper. I'm going to pull away at the corners and remove it off of the vehicle. Now I'm going to slowly place it on the ground. And we're going to move on to removing our harnesses. Now we're going to remove our bumper harness. There's a connector right here. We're going to push this white tab out with a pick. You can pull it away and set it aside. Now we're going to remove our crossbar. It's held in by a number of 10mm bolts and an 8mm bolt on the back. We're going to remove the 8 first. Now I'm going to move on to my 10mm bolts. On the other side it's the same process, but they are all 10mm. Now on the other side, to remove our last bolt, our washer fluid reservoir is in the way, so I'm going to undo the clip and set it aside. Now I'm going to use a wrench to remove the 10mm bolts. Now set it aside. Now we're going to move on to our refrigerant line bracket and its 10mm bolts. Go ahead and remove it as well. And pull it up and set it aside. Now I'm going to undo the harness from the crossbar. Using a trim tool, I'm going to remove these clips. We're going to remove our horn from the crossbar and also this electrical connector. It is a 10mm. Just set it aside. Now we can move on to our electrical connector. I'm going to use a pick to disengage this red tab. I got to push down on this black tab and remove the connector. Set it aside. Now repeat this process with the horn on the other side and the wire harness as well. Now let's move on to removing our hood latch. I'm going to take a marker and trace along the edges so we have an alignment reference during reinstallation. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove my two 8mm bolts. Now I'm going to follow my hood latch cable to its holders and release the cable from them. So just pry up on the holders and set the hood latch aside. Now we can move on to our two radiator support bars and remove them. These are two 13mm bolts. Now we could remove our crossbar and set it aside. Now I'm going to locate my upper fan shroud. They're held down by two screws. I'll be using a flat blade screwdriver to remove them. Now repeat this for the other screw. Now in the corners we are going to lift up and remove it. Now we're going to remove our fan electrical connector. There's a tab on here. Just press down and slide it out. Now inspect for any corrosion or damage on the connector. Set it aside. Now to gain access to remove our fan, we are going to remove our upper radiator hose. Pull this cover back. Undo the clamp with some pliers. Now remove the hose. Now set it aside. Now let's go ahead and remove our fan assembly. On each side, we're going to find these mounting tabs right here. What we're going to do is press down on here and release the mounting tabs from the mounting location on the radiator. So I'm pushing down. I'm also going to slide it up. Now do this for the other side as well. Now we're going to remove our plastic shrouds along the front of the vehicle. They just pull up and out. And the wire harness that's holding it down. Do the same for the other side. Now to remove my fan and intercooler, I'm going to have to undo this bracket holding our transmission oil cooler lines down to the radiator. There are two 8mm bolts. Now we're going to disengage our oil cooler and condenser from the radiator. We're going to locate these tabs. There's one on this side and two on the other side. Just push these in and pull the cooler out. We're going to do the same here. Push in and slide it out. And set them aside. Now we're going to locate this last 8mm bolt holding the condenser down to the radiator. Now I'm going to pull my condenser up and set it to the front. Now I'm going to take my transmission oil cooler, lift it up, bring it in front, and set it on the bumper reinforcement bar. Now I'm going to remove my overflow hose from the filler neck. Just twist and pull it off. Now we're going to lift our fan and radiator out of the vehicle. So just lift up, tilt it to the back, set the condenser to the front. Now raise it from both corners. Now I'm going to separate my fan from my radiator. On both sides there are 2 tabs. Push these down and lift up. And there it is. Now on our radiator, we are going to transfer our original rubber grommets for the bottom mounting locations back to the vehicle. So just slide them out and install them back on the subframe. Now we're going to transfer our upper grommets to our new radiator, but first we're going to remove them. I'm going to use a flat blade screwdriver to pry it out. I'm going to put it under the lip and just pull up on the rubber. Now just pull it up and out. Now repeat this for the other side. Now here we have our radiator. We're going to reinstall the upper mounting grommets. Let's just slide them over. Now repeat this for the other side. Now for our fan assembly. Locate the mounting points on the radiator and just slide it over. Once it's lined up, push down. Now let's take it back to the vehicle. Now we're going to reinstall our lower grommets. They just slide into the subframe. Now let's reinstall our radiator and fan. Just going to slide it into place. And reinstall it on your bottom rubber grommets. Once they're lined up, just push down. Now let's reinstall our condenser to our radiator. We're going to find a mounting location on the top right. Just push it in, make sure it's aligned. Now we're going to move on to this 8mm bolt on the top left corner. Make sure it's aligned and just snug it down. Now let's reinstall our transmission oil cooler. I'm going to put it over the radiator bar supports. We're also going to find 2 more mounting locations on each side, one right here and one on the other side. Just push it in. Now we can install our 2 8mm bolts. Just snug these down. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall our crossbar. Just slide it over in place. Make sure the radiator support bars are over the crossbar and just push down. Now let's reinstall our radiator support bars to the crossbar. I'm going to hand thread on my 2 13mm bolts. And just snug these down. Now let's reinstall our crossbar bolts. We're going to find 3 10mm right here, 1 8mm back here, and on the other side it's all 10mm. Go ahead and snug these down. And repeat this for the other side. Now I'm going to reinstall my washer fluid filler neck clip on the crossbar. Just slide it over. And push it fully in. Now for our fan shroud. I'm going to slide it over. And push it in place. Now in each corner of the fan shroud, we are going to install our screws. I'll be using a flat blade screwdriver. Now let's reinstall our upper coolant hose. Going to slide it on the radiator. Push all the way in. Slide this tab on the fan assembly. Make sure it's fully seated and slide it on the engine. Now I'm going to take my pliers and reinstall my clamps. Now for our 10mm AC line mounting bolt. On this bracket there are 2 tabs. They slide into the crossbar, so we'll line those and push them in. And snug down your 10mm bolts. Now I'm going to reinstall our coolant reservoir hose to our radiator filler neck. Now for our radiator fan connector. Just slide it up and ensure it's fully seated. Now for our inlet pipe. Going to reconnect our sensor. Now slide the accordion tube over the air box. And do the same on the throttle body. And now we can hand thread on our 8mm bolt. Snug it down. And I'm going to tighten our worm clamps using a flat blade screwdriver. Just make sure they're snug. Do the same with the one on the airbox. Now to reinstall our engine bay plastic shrouds. Just insert them in the corners. Push them down. Do the same for the other side. Now we're going to reinstall our rubber molding clips. Just align the holes and push down. Now for our plastic push pin clips. Now repeat this for the other side. Now for our engine cover. On the engine cover, you're going to find 4 rubber grommets that slide into tabs on the engine. So just line them up and push down. Now let's go ahead and reinstall our radiator shroud and our horn. Quick note on both sides of the horn harness. Right here and on the other side, ensure this clip is on before you install your shroud. Going to slide the horn aside. On this portion of the shroud, we are going to slide it over the radiator support bar, and on this portion, our harness. So slide the harness over and slide it over the radiator support bar. Now make sure it's aligned. And for your horn, do the same. Run it behind the shroud. Then install these clips. Just line up the holes and push down. And now we can mount our horn. Hand thread on your 10mm bolt, ensure the tab goes in the bar. And just snug it down. Repeat this for the other side. Now to reinstall our hood latch, I'm going to slide our cable in the cable holders. Now I'm going to hand thread on our 2 8mm bolts. We're going to line up the latch with our alignment points from earlier. And just snug these down for now. Now we're going to torque these down to 20 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to take my harness and reinstall it on the crossbar. Push it in and reconnect our electrical connector. Pushing on the red tab as well. Now let's reinstall our bumper. I'm going to start off by reconnecting our harness. So I'm going to slide it over, push it in, and push this white connector down as well. Now I'm going to mount the bumper on the mounting locations. So just lift up. Make sure it goes under these trim panels. And secure the clips. And repeat this for the other side. Now for our two bumper push pin clips, ensure the grill portion is under the engine bay portion side of the trim. Now let's reinstall our lower radiator hose. Slide it over and reinstall your clamp. Now for our plastic splash shield. Slide it in place. Now I'm going to go along the splash shield and install my 10mm bolts. Just snug these down. Now that my splash shield is in place, I'm going to install the one push pin clip on the back side, holding it up. Now for our metal skid plate, and it's 4 13mm bolts. Just snug these down. Now for our 8mm bolts along the corners of the bumper. Now repeat this for the other side. Now I'm going to reinstall my wheel arch and the hardware on the side of the bumper. Just push the wheel arch in until it clips. We're going to start with our 8mm bolt on the bottom of the bumper. Now our 2 push pin clips. Now our last 10mm bolt on top. Now repeat this for the other side. Now let's go ahead and refill our coolant. You can use new coolant, but if your old coolant is still in good shape, you could reuse it as well. Now that it's topped off, remove your funnel. Now we're going to reinstall our radiator cap. Turn clockwise until it's tight. Now we're going to make our way back inside the vehicle to reinstall our negative battery terminal and our battery cover. Slide the terminal over and in place. Once it's fully secured, I'm going to snug it down using a 10mm. Now I'm going to reinstall my battery cover. I'm going to slide it over. These mounting tabs line up with the holes on the body. So once it's in place, just push down. Now return your passenger seat to its original position. And that completes our install. Once you're finished, take the vehicle for a road test. After it's cooled down, check your coolant level and add more coolant if necessary, and also check for any leaks. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.